The seed that started the whole movement. When we started Seed Savers in the 70s, we didn't have anything. We just had an idea and a dream. So we had thousands of beans in my living room. It was now our responsibility to keep all those bean varieties alive. What we've saved over those years is irreplaceable. And if we hadn't started then, we would have lost a lot more. It's always amazing to me when we started out with 2 varieties of seed, and now I'm here looking at over 24,000 accessions of seed that we're permanently maintaining at the seed vault. All of our seeds are in airtight foil packs, so they're not maintaining any moisture. We also store a backup collection at the seed vault off the coast of Norway at Svalbard.
Svalbard has been called the Doomsday Seed Vault. The idea is that if one of these asteroids hits and causes a tsunami that wipes out a part of the world, or there's catastrophic cultural and economic collapse, we see all the seed banks in the world looted just for food. The idea was to have a backup, like the ultimate backup, just in case this seed bank is destroyed and they need their seeds back. But the problem with it is that we think that we don't have to worry about this now. It gives a false sense of security.
All the gene banks, they are all arcs. Ultimately, life does not go on an arc. I'm not confident that any of us have got something long-term in place that can weather the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune that might come our way.
We're now facing severity of climate change, the most radical we've had since the last ice age. This is happening at an unprecedented rate, and it's putting pressure on the diversity of life forms.
This is the driest they have seen since 119 years.
The Golden State's drought, the worst in over 1,000 years.
In northern New Mexico, we had a series of drier and drier years. Normally, this time of the year, we're going to get ready for planting, but where there's not any moisture, usually you'll hit a wet spot. A lot of the animals begin to feel the effects of the drought. They consume probably about a third of our corn and all of our beans, so it's tough for everybody.
Our corn is among the few places that is environmentally adapted to drought. The Hopi grow corn with no irrigation. All of our ceremonies are for rain. You petition the clouds to come and bless us. We say in our prayers, may the cloud people come. May the Kachina people come and visit us and bring us rain. May the corn grow up and produce their young ones. You never lose faith in the cloud people. This is a way that my prayers have been answered. One day, our corn will become very, very valuable to human survival.
I was very, very fortunate when I was a child. There was a fantastic tree My tree began from a tiny little seed. And I spent hours and hours up in the branches of that tree. And how magic that it could actually grow into a big tree. That tree is still in the garden today. Seeds are so crafty. There is a power, it's a magic. To me, it's magic. It's a life force so strong. There are seeds that rely on fire. There are seeds that tangle up in the hair of an animal. They get carried for miles. There are seeds that can't germinate unless they pass through the gut of an animal. Darwin was amazed that a seed grew after it had been 21 hours in the stomach of an owl.
A seed is a doorway between the life of the old plant and its gift to the new plant. Our teachers are the plants, and they're teaching us that they have to sacrifice themselves in order to be able to give something to the next generation. It's a form of reincarnation.
Come on in. Hello, hello. Come on in. Welcome to my humble abode. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Check it out. Check it out. This is how we roll. That's why they call me the corn. They call me the corn hippie.
Guys, this is unbelievable.
There's so much corn here. I mean, right here in these bags right here. This one has 87 87 different kinds of corn from Urubamba Valley.
Oh my God.
This is from the Sacred Valley. I get certified with a phytosanitary from the Peruvian government, and once we get it certified, then we're ready to ship it wherever we want to send it.
Peeps, that's astounding.
Look through these.
Look at that fava. For all the crazy people like me who sit there at night and look at bags of beans, it leaves us a mystery. This is so precious. No one even has an idea how much this. They're like jewels. They look like polished agates. Look at this one. Must be artistic genius of nature that allows this to happen. I gotta sleep with this on. When I was 6 years old, my parents asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I said, well, I want squash. I didn't want a G.I. Joe, and I didn't want a baseball bat. I wanted squash. And I wanted those because I wanted to save the seeds and grow them. My seeds are my kitchen table. My seeds are my way of sharing food with people all over the world. I've been to over 100 countries, collecting thousands and thousands of seeds. Here from Bolivia, looking like a speckled robin's egg. This bean here from Tanzania. One that's coming from Zimbabwe. Variety raised by the West Virginia hillbillies. And this exquisitely sculptured seed of a trichosanthes gourd from Vietnam. The seed is a time capsule. It's preserving things from the past, but it's also bringing things for the future. And this is, I feel I have an obligation to the world, whether that's unbalanced or not, to bring this appreciation to as big a swath of humanity as possible. This tiny little skinny tree with really large leaves is in the cacao family. Same plants that produce chocolate, and this is just a distant relative of cacao that still hasn't been commercialized. What if there's all kinds of other seeds in nature that have the potential for food production?
Way down there. Feel the end of it?
Yeah. Can you hold them? This is what we just harvested.
You know that these have been known to make grown men's cream. They say you can have a fever for several days if they bite.
Where is it, right here?
Okay, this is called pizzarina, and it's for being used on cuts and sores, and it almost has the look of iodine.
There's about 300,000 species of plants on the planet. We come down to 30,000 different edible plants.
Put them in your mouth like this, just kind of suck on them and
120 are used on a really regular basis. And most of humanity subsists on a mere 10. Beans, corn, wheat, barley, and rice. Virtually nothing compared to the bigger picture. We should put particular attention to the seeds of wild plants and figure out how we can get those into cultivation, because they're part of the biodiversity heritage that will feed the world.
Pick them out of there, Patrick.
There's a good one.
So we're getting a meal on a wild plant here, Dolly Dolly, which is one of the finest roots in the world to eat. Top chefs would go crazy over Dolly Dolly.
So
absolutely
why
crazy
don't we
over
grow it more?
Back in 1700s, Thomas Jefferson wanted to get seeds of risotto rice. And it was thanks to slyness that he was able to carry out some of this contraband seed and raise it near Monticello in the New World.
To feed this expanding continent that immigrants were streaming into, we needed a diversification of food crops. In the 1890s, of over 1 billion packets of seed were distributed for free to farmers around the country. The American Seed Trade Association hired the very first lobbyist to stop the federal seed giveaway, as they called it. They saw seed as a commodity, something that could be quantified, measured, bought, sold, and traded on stock markets, just a number on a spreadsheet. By 1924, the federal government seed program would cease.
These great industrialists said the only way we can really make profit on American agriculture is to invent a seed that they can't save.
And that gave birth to the hybrid seed industry. Hybrids were bigger and better, produces more. Success is yield. Hybrid companies fueled that fever to get the biggest and the best. Corn contests was rampant throughout the Midwest. You were measured not by how many times you went to church, it was how good a corn you grew. Everybody was winning that had hybrid corn. If you save the seeds from a hybrid and plant it again, you get what I call Mr. Toad's wild ride. Recessive genes that were hidden in the parents express themselves again. This is like the grandparents, the grandkids start coming out with all sorts of weird traits.
A little more like the mom, a little more like the dad, like old Uncle Harry. farmers took it for granted that we go to a shelf in the store to buy our seeds. A profound change, because seed is the beginning of all of it. If you're relying on someone else for your seed, then it's like you're relying for someone else on your soul or something. This is where it all starts. To not control that part of it is a major abdication of control and responsibility, and yet we did it wholesale.
It destroyed the natural seed banks and the seed practices of the farmers. Hybrid corn was the atom bomb of agriculture.
Right after the Second World War, the Green Revolution starts in Mexico. When you hear about the Green Revolution, people sometimes think, well, that's about windmills and tofu-powered sandals or whatever it is. The green in the Green Revolution was never about environmental consciousness. The green was meant to be the opposite of a red revolution. The visions of the Rockefeller Foundation kicked off the Green Revolution to provide cheap food so that people would remain capitalists and would not riot and become communists. This is about developing kinds of seed that matter for large-scale commercial farmers wherever they are. The Green Revolution was taking this rich knowledge of peasant farming that evolved over millennia and tossing it into the dustbin of history, replacing it with modern industrial agriculture. All of a sudden, men in white coats become the champions and the sole arbiters of knowledge about